Hello my darlings, welcome back to our little corner of the internet. Pray you're all doing wonderful and are keeping in extremely good health and in perfect happiness. Today I want to do a dive into rituals because last week we spoke about morning routines, morning habits. So today I thought, why not come up with a set of rituals that can add on to our wells, that can add on to our cups of happiness, so that we can also add on to other people, because you can never pour from an empty cup, right? According to psychologists, rituals are predefined sequence of symbolic actions. So you have to decide what the symbols are. Of course, we can have rituals from our religion, from a religious aspect, cultural aspect as well. We all have different rituals, but when it comes to the personal ones, this is where you have a lot of wiggle room. This is where the choice is yours. This is where you get to be the main character in your own story, because the canvas is blank. You paint as wild as you want. You carve until you see the angel in the stone the way you want, because only you know what that is. And the reason why they become the symbols important is because you give them meaning, you make them your own, and you can chuck, modify, put it in a never to be opened folder, open the folder every day. It's entirely up to you. But the idea here to have rituals is to become the lead actress, to become your, what do they call it in the internet street? Because we all want to increase our happiness scorecard. We all want to be the happier and healthier versions of ourselves. There's a line from a poem that I love. It's from the 18th century. It says, "Stand still, you ever moving spheres of heaven. That time may cease and midnight never comes." So basically, we're giving meaning to our time, because time is marching on every single day. We're getting older and the days are literally melting away. Last year we blinked and it was over. And funny enough, Christmas was what, 2 weeks ago? It honestly feels like it was 100 days ago. Time is definitely flying by. So we might as well become who we want to become. We might as well become intentional of our energy, because every time we're doing something, even if it's something that is mundane, and if we're doing something minutiae and it seems innocent, but it's actually not, because every time we're doing that, we're spending our energy, we're giving parts of ourselves away without even realizing it. So even if we're engaging in things that are not feeding our souls, things that are not feeding our minds, it's seemingly innocent. Or maybe waking up and first thing you're doing is you're scrolling. You're giving it away. You're giving that energy away, your essence away. And that is our life. That is our life force. So we have to create rituals that will protect our life force, that will enrich our lives, decrease our anxiety. That's where rituals come in, because they decrease the anxiety, they decrease the depression, they decrease even our sense of confidence, basically, because every day if you're looking at other people, how they're living their lives and feeding off that, and you don't have this, you're reminded of what you don't have, and before you know it, you lack contentment. And I truly believe contentment is a superpower, because you will begin to increase your own happiness scorecard, your own gratitude, because you are not comparing yourself to other people. You're not keeping up with the Kardashians, which is such a fantastic name, because we cannot keep up with the Kardashians. By the time we figure out Mama Chris, what she has done to her face, she's gonna be on another facelift. There's a song that I love by the National, one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, especially Matty's voice, oh my god, and also the brilliance and the sharpness of their pen, and how there's so much wit in their lyrics, and how you listen to a certain song, and they also remind me of my insignificance, in the sense that there's so much I don't know. I'm not that daft, but they make me think, they make me philosophize, they make me want to dive deeper and really understand the meaning of life, and ask questions. The bigger the question, the bigger the answer, basically. So that's what the National does to me. But there's a song in particular called Walk It Back, and I dated a new love and respect for them after I listened to that song over and over again, because it is so profound. There's this, what do they call it? Not a chapter, obviously. A verse. People like you are still living in what you call a reality-based community. You believe that solutions emerge from judicious study of discernible reality. That's not the way the world really works anymore. We are empires now, and when we act, we create our own realities. And while you're studying that reality judiciously, as you will act again, creating new realities, which you can study too. And that's how things will sort it out. We're history's actors, and all of you will be left to study what we do. So that's why it's important to be the main character in your own life, because if you try to keep up with the Kardashians, if you try to keep up with 20,000 people on social media, chances are you're not going to self-actualize. Chances are you're not going to find the joy in your own uniqueness, because we're all unique individuals, and what works for the Kardashians is never going to work for me, and what works for Arnold Schwarzenegger it's never gonna work for me. The guy is like, 10 foot tall, and I'm 5'4", and I'm like 54 kilos, and he's like 100 and something kilos. So obviously, even if I'm going to try his rituals, his morning rituals, and download them into my body, which is like quarter of his size, chances are I'm going to die. So that's how we have to see it. And when we accept the uniqueness of not just our backgrounds, the things that we love, and our unique essence, we begin to customize our own rituals. Why? Because we cannot keep on watching other people create their new realities. So while we're studying what they're doing, they're going to be coming up with new realities. So we're going to keep on keeping up with them. And while we're doing that, we are going to be unhappy. This is about coming to self. Repetition is the mother of skill, and stand still you ever moving spheres of heavens. That time may cease. I'm not talking about time ceasing in the manner of Miss Havisham, where we close our curtains and we throw away our cell phones and we run away from them and kill the time. Although she wasn't completely wrong, because a stopped clock is right twice a day, right? And we're not saying that. We still have to live life. We have to live life. We may not be of the world, but we live in the world. We live with people. So therefore, obviously, we're going to be, again, we're not going to become in the manner of Miss Havisham. What did she say in the beginning when she met Pip? So new to him, so old to me. So strange to him, yet so familiar to me. So strange to him, yet so familiar to me, but so melancholy to both of us. We're not looking at that. We just want to be doing the opposite of that. Yes, repetition is boring. We all want the new and shiny. That's why fast fashion is extremely successful. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, because we are constantly bombarded with new things constantly. Every time we go back, there's going to be something new, and as we scroll, we're reminded of what we don't have. So the thing to remember when it comes to rituals is that there are a billion ways to ritualize our lives. Once again, it has to be unique to you, and we all can do it differently, because again, we are different people. We've got different needs. We're at different phases of our lives, and we have different tax brackets. So therefore, it's going to be different for all of us. But the beauty of doing it differently is that we can do it differently together, and that's why we love to have little communities and people you resonate with. So sometimes it's not just about the numbers, it's about resonance as well. So find the things that resonate with your soul, that make your soul sing and dance. So, one of the leading neuroscientists today, he said we will constantly alter our relationship with our environment so that our expectations become self-fulfilling prophecies. Again, this is working with the mind. We are always constantly, obviously, on the prefrontal cortex because that's where we strategize and think and come up with problem-solving tools. But I want to go deeper, like a few steps deeper into the hippocampus, where memories are stored. And this is where the magic is, I think, because we now coming out of the I gotta do this, the ABCDE mind. Now I have to focus on the feeling, and it's simple practices like having your favorite cup of tea or a cup of coffee every day, drinking from that cup. How does that feel for you? And really being present with that, because once again, the rituals, you give the rituals meaning. So whatever it is that you give meaning to, it could be a cup that is specifically designated for your morning coffee, and then when you see it, you feel that sense of, oh, now my day can begin. It is such a fantastic practice. I used to be obsessed with mugs. Like, I could never go to a supermarket or every time I would do shopping, I would always end up with a mug. And but I narrowed it down because I'm trying to be mindful of where and how I spend. And now I have mugs that are genuinely meaningful to me. And if it breaks, as with all things in life, I'm going to replace it. So I have one that I drink for coffee, one that I have for tea, and again, it doesn't have to be 20 mugs. I know it's nice to have a large variety, but narrowing it down is going to just give you that sense of ritual. It becomes a meaningful ritual. And then when you make your tea, whichever way you like, it's going to be that much more meaningful, because this is your cup. This is mommy's cup. This is my girlfriend's cup or your boyfriend cup. I think it just makes it that much more special. You wear when you want, again, to increase your dopamine, increase your happiness scorecard. And I like to tie this with the inner child. I always talk about it. We've been discussing the inner child healing, but there were things that you wore when you were a little child, increasing your happiness scorecard, because there's nothing worse than dressing like everybody else. At the end of the day, was that your idea? But how much of that was your idea? So there's nothing more beautiful than sitting down with your journal and really, really coming up with formulas that work for you, that enhances your skin color, that make you feel, again, like the best version of yourself. They might be boring, but it's a formula that works, right? Again, we're not Miss Havisham, but because Miss Havisham wore her wedding dress until it turned yellow, strained, and you don't know what to do. So have a ritual where you can make your favorite meals, like especially if it's high protein, and then you are guaranteed that throughout the week you're sorted out. You have your legumes, you have your beef, you have your chicken breast, you've got your salmon, you've got your anything, whatever it is that you like. But having a day that you sort of come up with a shopping list, being ritualistic about it once again, and doing it until it becomes second nature, basically, and then going with your lists and then preparing. So one day for shopping, if you can do it all together, like, and dedicating an entire day and being ritualistic about it, not only is it a money saver, but it's also a way to keep us healthier. You can see coming up with your own rituals, it is really about, again, protecting your space, mental health, wellness, because when we are happier, we are healthier, right? Because there are certain diseases that actually are induced by stress, and we don't want to stress. We don't want to feel like we're not enough because we don't have a $20,000 skincare shelf. Nobody needs all of that. But if that's your thing, then by all means go for it. So it's about defining that for yourself and not observing other people, not watching. You're not getting your dopaminergic from watching other people as they're creating their realities, Easter's actors. We are not doing that because we have tried that before. And it's empty calories. So we're going to start feeding our souls, our minds, and our spirits with things that are healthy, things that are going to, again, help us feel like the happier and healthier and fulfilled versions of ourselves. So that's all we had time for today. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. Love one another, take care of one another, and be kind to one another, if nothing else. And know that I love you entirely and intensely. I shall be seeing you in my next video. Bye.